All right, everybody. Today is July 11th. This is Small Caps Trading Podcast. As always, this stuff we discuss on this video is not a financial advice. Do your own research. So we we're gonna do this um, weekly videos, not super long, but time to time. That's kind of where we are at right now. And we're gonna talk today about short traps. So Mo, you wanna take it over?
Yes, sir. So we're, changing as Molly was saying, we're changing the format a little bit. We started doing weekly calls on the Discord server with all the guys, and so we'll do those. Those are opportunities for people to just come in and ask whatever they want to ask, talk about whatever they want to talk about. We did one last week, couldn't post it because I accidentally exposed my account details. We recorded it, we didn't post it because I accidentally exposed my account details on the screen share. We will record and post the other ones, and I won't make that mistake again. But those are sort of the longer form videos that we want to do going forward. Is the direct people coming on and talking about what they want to talk about. But we also want to put out sort of a quote unquote educational series where we touch on singular subjects one at a time so that there'll be, one video like that per week and plus the weekly call. So today we want to talk about short traps explained. In the following weeks, we'll touch on things like, when to be a trader on a stock and when to be patient in your position, floats and what they can do, how to really draw proper support resistant lines and understanding the looking left level, how to use Twitter to help you trade, what does soaking look like and what does it mean what, etc. So that's sort of the direction. We'll pick one topic a week, cover that in addition to doing the weekly calls and we'll post that as well because all of it has value. So that's the idea. And without further ado, today I want to talk about short traps. Now, before I start, I want to just really, really emphasize because I know, and Molly knows that whenever we sort of teach a lesson, or teach this little price action thing or that thing, people they really put they start seeing that in places where it's not, and so I want to really point out that the short traps that we're going to go over today, it's one tool in your toolkit. You never just um, see that and make all your decisions based off of that. There's a multitude of things of signals, so to speak, that you're looking at, but we're going to break them down one by one. And so just keep in mind that you never really put on a trade because of a singular signal, but we are going to go over these signals one by one. So that being said, I want to talk about. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Blah, 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 blah. Share your screen. Window, entire screen, this thing. Okay. So what's a short trap? So a short trap is a price action situation that entices shorts to get short the stock, and then it becomes strong. So the shorts are in the name, but it's going against them substantially. So that's really it in a nutshell. It's a situation the shorts will get short, but the action reverses on them, and it comes in a lot of ways. The two main short traps that you're going to see are a sub VWAP trap and a sub key level trap. Those are like 90% of the short traps, the majority of the short traps that you're gonna see. And here on LCFY, we actually have both simultaneously, right? So you always have to look at these things as if it's in real time, right? So if we're looking at this thing in real time and we have this guy that went from whatever $2 to almost $10, pretty much straight up, really. You had a sub VWAP dip right here. I wouldn't really put too much thought into that. It's the move wasn't really too crazy at that point, but nevertheless, you could see that that they let this dip below VWAP. And, whoever was looking at this too early and was short way too early, I don't know. I couldn't speak to that. But you see it halted up. It halted up over here, right? Like this missing volume. This is 10:01. This is 10:11. It was a 10-minute. It was a 10-minute halt. So they caught people here. But that's not the trap I want to look at here. Like if you're looking at this in real time, then you would have sort of drew your line over here, right? And it it's sort of dipped below that, and then really dipped below that and below VWAP. So at this point, this is looking real good to short simply from a visual price action perspective, because here it failed the support area and it failed VWAP, right? And then what happens? It comes back. Now everything on this is this particular short. Some short traps are intentional. They're produced by someone, and some short traps are not intentional. This is intentional. This was 100% an algo that was completely controlling this the whole time, and so this attempt to breach a VWAP and failure, it looks real nice. This would be a sort of an example of a sub VWAP trap, because it's like, oh, well, wonderful. What a clean rejection right below VWAP. Plus I got this inventory above. If you're ignoring float, if you're ignoring the theme of the day, if you're ignoring all that stuff, then you're like, man, I'm going to pounce, right? Because it came from $2. It went to $9. It's at 7 now. It's a perfect lower high. It's real close to highs, but I got my setup. It's perfect, right? Psych. Like butter. Like butter through VWAP, like butter through, quote unquote, the support level. And so, what this is like while this is, you could argue this is a VWAP trap. I don't really look at it that way. This is 100% a trap, an intentional short trap. They are moving this, and they could have absolutely run it here, but they didn't want to. They wanted to paint VWAP rejection to entice shorts. So that is a short trap, right? And you could see the results. And I don't think that's the only trap, the only meaningful trap here. I think that if you were to continue to look at this is sort of the range you'd be looking at. And it looks like it's going to fade. So I guess, this wasn't a trap per se, but I looked at this and I was like, wow, look at that, man. Like it's sort of basing real cleanly right below the support line, and it swipes right back up. If it held, the 640s, I've been like, watch out. You if they're still there, and if they're still trapping here, then they're going for a first red day type thing tomorrow. But as long as it doesn't hold 6/4, then I guess not. But we'll see tomorrow. So that's one example of short traps. I have a bunch more that I want to go over. But before I do, any thoughts, any questions?
No, I don't have any question. I mean, this one was very obvious, like as far as the way it was moving, how
Yeah.
trappy it was. It wasn't a void, but yeah, let's move to the next one because I
All right.
might have questions for the next one.
Cool. So let's look at a few more, and then we'll go into deeper into some more thoughts about short traps in general. So let me see what I got on the list. Oh man, Zap had the most. Oh my god, the most annoying trappy behavior ever. Goodness gracious. So Zap, the way that Zap would trap was I said, oh, most short traps are sub VWAP traps or sub key level traps, but those are for the very, very like instantaneous traps where you get short and within seconds to minutes you are dead wrong. and it causes sort of a whipsaw effect, right? Zap did a really great job trapping, but they are, like I said, like 90% of the short traps are, sub VWAP and sub key level, and I mean exactly sub VWAP, exactly sub key level. Sometimes like trappy behavior looks different. So for example, on Zap, this day over here, this $4 area, it's this day right here, right? And from here, you could see that what they would do is they would they would rip it and then crash it. And this might not look like much, especially not with hindsight. But I mean, if you're trading this and it came from 50 cents, and now off the morning, it's gapping, and off the morning it's running to $5, and it does this huge, this huge, you know, attempt on high volume, and then this big flush. You're thinking to yourself, well, it came from 50 cents. It's, I guess, $5. It really couldn't hold it. And look at these big red candles. Surely this is it. But the thing is that, yeah, of course we know that wasn't it, because it went to damn near 20 from there. But the way that they did their short traps was less immediate, right? So technically, you could have. So what you're really looking for on these, and for that matter, all short traps, is you have to have the big picture levels in mind, and if they get violated, meaning if they get reclaimed, then that's your warning, right? So in this case, it's clear as day, why this line is here, right? Support. And so if you had something that went from 50 cents to $5 and it had these huge flushes, it should not come back from here. It should not. This right here should absolutely be like, if for whatever reason you feel like this is a short, you're getting short here or you're getting short here. If this line reclaims, you got to get out. And the Zap did that thing over and over and over, which is that they, they did these really big flushes, not just on this day here, which we were looking at, right? You can take a look at the following day after that, and you'll see the same exact behavior. This is a halt down. This thing, again, you'd be like drawing support, right? And if you'd be drawing support, it'll be right here. And so this, it came shooting in the morning on high volume, and it flushed and it halted down. And what did it do? It's picked right back up, and and again and again and again and again. And so, again, it's a clear as day support. As soon as the base is over that, if this is a short loaded, this thing's also only true, by the way, for high momentum in play, high short interest names or high short participation names. It's not just because any stock out there that's trading no volume and hasn't, set up to be very short loaded. It's only obviously the stocks that are in play. And so Zap behaved in that way. And I want to show, if I can move on. If not, let me know. But if I can move on, I want to show some more classic traps, because Zap was not classic. More classic is like you're immediately wrong, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Zap trap and the trap that the LFCY, I think. They are two different traps. Are we
Yes.
going to go over like how to avoid them at the end, or should I ask them now for the Zap?
I mean, is it different for you how to avoid them on Zap and how to avoid them on different names, or is it?
Well, like LFCY, it was obvious. I didn't touch it, but that chart that you were showing on Zap, I was short that day, and I did get stopped because, like, after it went limit down, it tries, and and I'm like, all right, show me your hand if you're gonna take it out. It fails again from there.
Talking
Yeah,
about this limit down over here.
yeah. I'm not touching
Yeah.
it. It pushes higher. I'm like, all right, now it's the trap time. It can't. It fails again. It fails again. I'm like, all right, this thing is done. So I'm gonna be there in the next bounce. So if you keep moving, when it bounces, I'm probably somewhere there, and I get
Where?
stuck.
Here?
No, more higher. Yes,
Here?
somewhere around here. After it
Okay.
fails, or somewhere I don't remember, but somewhere there. That's where I got
Okay.
short. And I thought they showed their hand, limit down, high of today again, try one more, and then fail. I'm like, all right, now I want to be in the bounces, and it still did its thing. I'm like, all right, you guys got me. So this was harder for me than
Right.
LFCY. That was
So
correct.
so so yeah. So most short traps are not going to look like this. I just put it in here because it was a great trapping, and it recently occurred. I'll go like most of them are going to look like LCFY, and I'll go through a few more that look like that. But how? Yes, of course, I'm going to talk about how to avoid them, or how to on the short side, how to long them on the long side. We can talk about that now. But it's sort of basic, and I sort of said it is that for traps you have to have a big picture view. Again, first of all, trappy behavior is only relevant in stocks that are in play, that you know there is substantial short participation in there, which is the type of stuff me and you normally trade, right? And
Yeah,
so that being said, if you know that a name is in play, if you know that a name has lots of momentum and volume in it, and if you know, crucially, critically, if you know that a name has lots of shorts in it, then there has to be a level that above which you know shorts are in trouble, and that's the trap level. So on Zap, we are thinking it came for 50 cents, I think, and here we are at like $8. It's really really remarkable. So wherever it is that like here when it halted down, then it wasn't even about levels. It was just the halt down is what informed shorts. Oh wow, this thing is kaput. It's done. It halted down, you know, and so then it swiped back up. And if you were paying attention to Zap on the days prior, you would have seen that this is how it behaved the whole way, where it would give hard flushes that absolutely shook out the longs and brought in the shorts. It was really hard to survive these flushes on the long side, and it was very enticing for the shorts. And so, on whether it's the classic short traps like the sub VWAP and the sub key levels, which your eye is, I think, very used to, or whether it's the less, you know, perfectly lined up traps like ZAPP, there's always a level that's a line in the sand level. That if you are short this, and it goes over that level, shorts are in trouble. The first place that you would think about when I talk about that is pre-market highs, right?
yeah,
And pre-market highs, you're like, man, if it like breaches pre-market highs, a trapping behavior could occur below pre-market highs, right below it. It's not out of the question. But that's not the only area that should be a line in the sand. As a short, you should have a line in the sand, and the line in the sand shouldn't be your personal line in the sand. It should be everybody's line in the sand. And so because that's what's going to cause a mass reaction, a critical mass reaction. And so really, like it's what you're seeing here is a carbon copy of what you're seeing here, buddy. It's the same thing. It's pop with a bunch of like fails that look real enticing, behave like a little hangout below the previous support. It looks a lot like lower highs, and then whoops, reclaim.
yeah.
This is this right here, buddy. This is this. It's the same thing.
To be honest, that was like another indicator. I'm like, all right, this was a trap the other day. Then I'm gonna do it again. because that's what
Why
everybody
not?
that's what
So,
everybody's thinking. I'm like, this can't happen again, and they did it like 3 times. This was
did
annoying.
more than 3 times. They did it a bunch of times.
Well, I
And
just worked
so,
that 3 days that happened, but they probably.
yeah. So I want you to consider that when stocks are being manipulated, the manipulator has a limited bag of tricks that they're using. Sometimes it's one. And you know this. You know this. Sometimes the stock is being, there's one trick that they constantly use to keep the stock going, to trap and go, trap and go, trap and go. Sometimes they'll have more than one trick, but it's on one stock, it's one party that's doing this. And so they have their way. And so yeah, if it works, they'll keep on doing it till it stops working. Um, and we can go into more sort of classic examples of this because Zap is a non-classic example. I probably should have thrown this at the end. I should have just first looked at the classic
Oh,
examples.
SNGX, yeah, this one was very nice too.
Yeah. So, um, we have, first of all, we have the pre-market high. So, um, I think we've talked about that enough in our, post Black Swan videos, where we know that, if it between 9:30 and 11 a.m., if something gapped up large, which this did, right? This gap from like $2 to like $7, that's absurd. If it only offers you a small fade and then before 11 a.m. violates the pre-market highs, that's I mean, it doesn't get more obvious warning signal for a black swan than that, right? And so here, it's not really a trap. It's just a violated pre-market high, right? Where the traps came in is where they really had a hard time keeping this going, and so the most obvious trap that I'd like to talk about is, and again, like you always have to look at this as if it's in real time, right? Because that's how it is, man. So if you were looking at this in real time, you would draw support over here. It's obvious. And then when this happens, for whatever reason you're short, that you interested in shorting this name or already short this name, this is potentially where you might hit it. This is where a lot of shorts will hit it. This will entice and tempt shorts, and then what happens? Right back up. But no, it's cool. It's not really going. And what do we have here? Another fail of that level. Perfect. Let's hit it some more. Let's feel more confident about our shorts, right? This is manipulated. It's manipulated. It's not by accident. This is on purpose to cause shorts to get in, to sort of spook out longs a little bit, so that the pressure dynamic is clear, so that they could do this, right? And let's see. Here we had a sub VWAP trap, but I think it was just for the liquidity, just to sort of get hunt for some more liquidity. I mean, that's hindsight talking, because in real time I don't. But you can see that same trap P behavior here. You're like, hey, here we go, sub VWAP, and then it rips right through it. Any questions, any thoughts? I can go through a few more examples before we go talking about what to do, what not to do, all that stuff.
For this one, like as far as VWAP traps, like if somebody asks if they never heard this before and if they're watching this, there is basically a buyer let it drop below VWAP and they keep supporting the bid until shorts start supporting themselves, keep getting out, right? That's really the definition that's happening there. You're at the bid, you're at the bid, you're at the bid. At some point, you don't have to, because shorts are going to cover themselves up.
That's right.
Okay, so
That's exactly that. And longs sort of close. Some longs it hits the long stops too, because a lot of longs will like be long based on that. And so when I said clears the pressure dynamics, what I meant was as long as longs are there, they're sellers into this level or that level, and so it's hard for the manipulator to push through the sellers. So once he lets it drop below support, it hits some long stops. So now they're gone, and it brings shorts in that are, a short is a future buyer, guaranteed. You know that, right? Right. It's just a matter of, are they buying at profit or at a loss?
Yeah.
So, the longs are gone, so they're no longer selling pressure. The shorts are in. They're buyers. Once they're shorts, the next thing they have to do is be a buyer, whether it's in seconds, weeks, months, minutes, whatever. And so there's no sellers there. There's no sellers, so they can put, or much less sellers, rather, I should say. So then they push it right back, and it's easier for them to push it back from that point because of the pressure dynamics that I had just described. And at that point, what you said, they push it just enough to freak out shorts, who then take it the rest of the way up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other stuff, other examples that we can look at. So KZIA yesterday, really just the sub VWAP trap is the only one I saw, right? Because if you take a look at this, in the morning, pre-market highs, it has all the markings of, of the algo action right here, right? You recognize this. And it has those upper wicks, which look real nice. Oh, there's selling pressure, right? 3 selling pressures right here. So you're like, okay, I can, get short against this level or whatever. And then the morning comes and, look at that, right? Like it's not perfect to the wicks, but yeah, it's real convincing. And then you get this action over here and it's convincing. It's very, very convincing. And once that gets taken out, then, the rest we know, right? So that's really the only trap that I could see. I don't really, remember if there might have been. I don't really see any other traps per se. And so we got KZIA, ISNGX, Zap we talked about. Tesla is the trappiest name in the world. It's just, I don't trade Tesla. It's just impossible. Like that thing traps. I know it's not a small cap, and we're talking about small caps right now, but I mean, Tesla is such a trappy. It's such a trappy name. I mean, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, and Tesla does this kind of shit all the time. So it's the king of trappiness. But what I want to talk about is also, okay, so you're like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to say, oh, here are short traps, and a new or intermediate trader is going to just, all they're going to see is short traps everywhere they look. And not only that, but they're going to infer that, every short trap means that the stock is going to go to the moon. It doesn't mean that. There's a lot of, in order for you to create a bias on or a theory on something, you need to have multiple signals, multiple pieces of information that are informing you. And so in that spirit, I wanted to show, I didn't want the impression to be like, oh, short traps are always this and it always works out that way. Nah. Right. So what is it? Is it ATNX, not ANTX. Sorry, ATNX. ATNF?
ATNF, yeah.
Thank you. Yep, that's the one, my man. And so on ATNF, personally, I see short traps. Let's count them let's count them together. One. And remember, the only way this is true is, if we're looking at this as if it was in real time, because hindsight, you'll adjust the lines to like fit whatever you want. But in real time, the line would have been like around here. That's where the line would have been.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been lower than that. You know what I mean? So, and it just right below veer up and back up. So we had a trap over there, and um, you know, and there go another one. But um, let me zoom this out real quick. But in this case, in this case, it didn't, the first trap, it went to the moon, but after that, every trap that ensued, which was this one over here, this one over here is a hell of a trap. My God, this is
I
the
thought
most
the
no
PR hit at that moment. When I saw that, I thought like news came out or something. It went down and
right,
it nothing up.
right. So like if somebody's watching this and y'all know what the action looks like in real time, you'll know that this is a crazy candle. Right below, right? Like, I mean, like come down on volume and then whoop right back up. But in this case, every, um, you know, every trap out, this one, they sold into them. So in retrospect, it didn't go to the moon from there. Those were all, you know, long traps, if anything. So I mean, there weren't. These were short traps, but they didn't have follow through. So my point of showing this is that not every short trap means it's going to keep on going. You have to have context. Where are we in the move? What kind of instrument is this? What other signals do I normally use to inform me? And where is this particular name? How is it fitting all the other signals I normally look for? So we're just talking about short traps today in isolation, and it's important to note that. But as I said in the very beginning, a short trap is like the type of action that really is a siren call for shorts, like short me, I'm a prime short, and then it makes those shorts wrong. 9 times out of 10, those short traps make shorts wrong immediately. By immediately, I mean within seconds. As the case over here, it was seconds, right? To let's say minutes, right? In the case of this short trap over here, right? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, right? It's within seconds to minutes you're wrong, and very wrong. Sometimes on rarer occasions, it's the stuff like ZAPP, which takes all day. And ZAPP had such an incredible move, partially because it was slow cooking the shorts. The traps were not instantaneous, so they didn't puke the shorts out on the traps. You know what I mean?
Let me ask, like these classic traps, that trap, that manipulation is right below there. Whoever is supporting it, you can see like on the chart. Okay, that's where the trap is. On something like Zap, can you point out where is the bit? Like where did they actually support it that caused that move to go back to highs?
Well, let's see. So these were the real traps right here, right? And so I wonder why you're asking that, but you can see in this case, right? 1, 2, and if we went to this fucking laptop takes me forever. The next day after that, what do you think you're gonna see?
So all the low of the day levels on
1,
the talk
2.
spot.
It's literally the same thing. I mean, it's literally the same thing day after day.
Yeah.
But I like the thing about short traps is that like I mean, Zap is a different kind of short trap. most of them, it's super duper. I just brought in, maybe I really shouldn't have brought in Zap, but it's traps happen in different ways. There's that other 10% of traps. It's not all,
Yeah.
um, but normally they're not fucking around. Like they're not trying to. Their plan is not a multi-day plan. It's a single-day plan. So they're not trying to let it fall all the way down to VWAP and I have to pick it back up from here. Nah, they're trying to trap you right below the key level. They're not trying to work harder than they should. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah, I asked the Zap. The reason being, they got me. Usually, I'm okay
Me
counting
too.
these things. I was curious if you knew that, like, if there was a spot you caught them. Uh,
I mean,
they
I
didn't know.
thought on Zap, I thought I did a really great. I thought I did. I was so proud on Zap. I didn't short it anywhere here. I didn't short it here, and I didn't even short it. I can't remember. I don't think that I shorted it
No,
here, but I should.
I started that day, and then you started when it went all the way high. So yeah, that's what I started. You started that day. Yeah.
You started here. I started here, right?
Yes.
I thought, and I lost here, right? It looks like fantastic timing, but I didn't make. I lost money.
Yeah.
You know that. So they got me too. I was very proud. I was like, oh man, this is a hell of a short squeeze. I did such a great job avoiding it throughout this whole run. This is the day I'm gonna make tons of money, and they got me with the
Yeah.
end
It
today.
was interesting, man.
Yeah, it was a really, really great run. It was super duper impressive. And like, you know me, I don't harp on losses. I learn from losses. I learn from everything. I look at stuff for what it is. And so yeah, no hard feelings, nothing like that. It's
Yeah.
just it's just the difference between Zap and all the normal short traps is that they cook it was slow cook. It was Zap was slow cook traps all the regulars, and that's why you couldn't see it as obviously. And maybe this lesson is good for you, to look at Zap and understand that that's a short trap
Yeah.
too.
Well, I got my lesson the next day. I lost money the first day. The next day, I made it back because I didn't try again. I didn't recycle on that last day.
right,
I was out by the morning. I'm like, nope, you guys are not getting me again. Because once they did
right.
twice, because usually they don't do the same thing. Once they did the same thing twice, I'm like, all right, I guess they're just gonna keep doing this. So
Right.
yeah,
So to show what Molly's talking about, I'm assuming you're talking about that you were short somewhere here, covered into somewhere here, and didn't try again because you finally saw what the traps look like, right?
yeah, they did last 2 day. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna recycle today. So
Right, right,
that was
right.
it.
Right, because they were like every day they would flush the morning, pick it up in the afternoon. So you could short the mornings and just walk away, and you'd be doing fine.
Yeah,
Which
I'll be
is I'm
doing
glad I'm
fine.
glad you. Right, right. Me, I thought, not again. Not here, not at these levels, not again. And I got short and I lost money.
Yeah,
But generally speaking, so the more common traps, the SNGXs and the LCFYs and those guys, you're gonna see those a ton, right? And I mean, you is it LC? Where's the one minute on it? Oh,
LCFR.
okay.
Yeah,
Right, like these are clear to you, right? Like
yeah,
and these are the ones that we see most often, and we see them very often, almost exclusively in like these kinds of traps where it goes right below and then reclaims, almost exclusively in the low float manipulated um, world, because that's just how they do it. That's how they move low floats to really, really large gains. And so I thought, it's crucial for you guys to know this and see this. If you don't know it already, it might be obvious, but we got to go through it. And then we'll go through a lot, like I had mentioned in the intro to all of this. We're going to go through all of the other sort of little things to know. Like for example, like one podcast that we're going to do is going to be what does soaking look like and when does it mean what, right? So you take this, now you know what a short trap looks like. Next, whenever we do that podcast about soaking, you're gonna understand what soaking is, and then and we'll take all these little signals and teach them, and then eventually you put it all together, and that's when
Yeah.
you can do something actionable, because there's nothing actionable per se. I could generally say, hey, if you see an obvious short trap, take the loss. If you're short. If you're long, get long the reclaim of the short trap, right? But
Yeah.
that's true. It's true, but it's way too simplistic in general,
Yeah.
right? There's obviously more in play. So, any questions, any thoughts, or short traps? There you go.
No, I think this is enough of a timeline that we discussed. But I kind of I'm interested. Maybe this is another video. Um, you do really well. Like you wait for trap and then you get on the other side of to get short. Like my execution
Yeah,
is different, right? Like I'm not that good, so I find my own ways to get it. You are more as it is happening. You are like reacting to that. So maybe
yeah.
we can get some example. Okay, what you do once you think the trap is done and find your own levels. I maybe this will be another video, but I'm kind of interested. This
Could
one.
be it could be, it should be another video, but there's another topic. I said all these signals that we'll go through in different educational podcasts will all blend in, and I gave the example of soaking. But there is the other topic that I mentioned, which is when to be a trader on a stock, and when to be to be patient in your position. In other words, when are you trading just for this volatility that you're seeing? And when are you trading, because you want that big move, leg down after leg down after leg down, if you're short, or vice versa, right? And all of those things, they sort of tie into your answer in a more theoretical, big picture way, which is, if you understand the game, if you understand that when they trap and then they push it out, you know it's you could find the like, because look. Oh, I'm trying to do it over here. It's like, here we see the sub VWAP trap, right? So as it goes from the sub VWAP trap into the looking left, could you get short here? Which is sort of what you're alluding to, the type of style that I do. And although I didn't do it here, I would. This is things that I do. I'll see this, I'll get short here, right? But I'll cover here, because my point is that um, this type of behavior, to me, it's a video game. It's not. It's got nothing to do with company, stock market. It's a video game. They're hunting for behavior, and they're causing that behavior. And so I see that I see that hunting, I see that behavior, and yes, I might react to it. But when I am playing their game, I know that I'm playing their game, and so I'm incredibly respectful of that. Um, it's I'm here for that opportunity that I see, and I do not overstay my welcome. Maybe in hindsight, it looks like, hey man, why'd you cover so fast? It would have been great. Or maybe in hindsight, it's like, hey, why'd you, like, thank God you covered, because it went higher. But since I don't know how to see the whole future, but I am good at short term reactions, which is what you're saying. And so I do it. I do it in short terms, and like, so it's like nothing necessarily to be proud of, right? Like, I don't but this, I didn't trade much of this, but like, I have no regrets about this trade. Like, I came in, I saw something, I hit it for what I saw it. I didn't try to overstay. I didn't try to over understand it. I just saw a short term something, and like, when you hit something on size, um, it sort of gives me the knowing that I'm only here for what I see right now, gives me more confidence to have larger size, which even though I'm capturing a small move, it's still worth it for me. And now on Soon, I never went back to it, but normally on stocks that I trade, there'll be more of this. Like I'll keep on like taking advantage of momentary things until I find that moment where I'm like, okay, now we're switching from, um, trader in and out to position. I'm position, and I'm waiting for the full thing, and that's the other video, right? So there's a whole video. There's a whole video I want to do just for that. When to be a trader, and when to have patience, when to, and all that's going to tie in together. The soaking lessons going to tie in together. So, like, to answer your question, I have all that stuff in my mind. All the lessons that we're going to put out, they're all exist in my mind. So I see the soaking, I see the looking left levels, I know when they're still winning and when I'm just picking up, pennies in front of their steamroller, so to speak, and I just make sure that that's what I do and nothing else. It's all that stuff that comes together that tells you, okay, here's a short opportunity, but I don't know that it's anything beyond right now, and so I'm not going to try to make it anything beyond that. And that's what gives me the confidence to hit those high volatility, thin things that I sometimes do, because I know I'm not trying to figure it out for the whole day. I'm just capturing this volatility right now.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Makes sense. Dang, that's so untraded. Nice. Huh? I didn't watch this. That's, I just saw that. That was a good setup. You didn't trade the open on that bounce?
Nah, man. You see the trades right here. I
Yeah,
didn't trade. You,
okay.
you mean to ask why I didn't trade the
I
bounce?
guess yeah.
Um,
You did some clicking. Maybe you were just showing that trade. That's why I was asking that.
oh yeah, no, I was just I can't really just show a trade. That's just on DAS. That's a show. There's a show trades.
You just show everything.
Yeah, so you can show it and unshow it. Um, no, I should have. I absolutely should have. It's right up my alley. It's my perfect name. It's my style. But be honest, I had some pretty decent size on ZAPP because I just my attention was elsewhere. That's
Yeah,
really
got it. Yeah,
that's really
makes
it.
sense. All right. Do you want me to stop the video? It's been 47 minutes.
Yeah. You can stop it before. You can start with you can clean up the last couple of minutes. You can add them, not add them. It's up to you.
Right. Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. Check this video out. Ask questions. We are in Discord. You know where we are. Peace. And we will have the call tomorrow at 4.
Yep.